What was a day in the life like as an aide to the President of the United States?
So really the Cold War got hot in about 1985. There was some confusion about an exercise that we were starting to have in the Atlantic, and the Soviets weren't really clear that it was an exercise, so they started to mobilize, and then we, not knowing that they were mobilizing because we were exercising, started to mobilize, and cooler heads prevailed, but President Reagan expanded the corps of aides to the president. So it's about majors and lieutenant commanders grade, so that you're young enough to have good legs to carry heavy bags and jump on and off helicopters and other vehicles. But President Reagan started having the aides always stay with the president. So you'd stay overnight on the White House grounds under the East Wing. It's not a secret. You stay in a little stateroom. The Navy runs the maintenance of the White House between FDR and Theodore Roosevelt. It's a very Navy building. Camp David is a Navy installation guarded by Marines. It's a very Navy town. Not always happy about that, but it's the Navy town. And so you stay in a little stateroom in the basement under the East Wing. And your real purpose is an emergency actions officer. So if a terrible threat comes, the aide's responsible with the entourage, there's plenty of an entourage, for the continuity of the presidency. The Secret Service are there to protect the person of the president and get him in a safe room or to get him away, maybe her someday. But the aide's there to make sure the president's in connectivity with the National Command Authority, that you know every step of what he'll do. So if you're the advance aide someplace, you go out and you know exactly what's going to happen when he steps out here. There's the safe room here, the nearest hospital is there, I know where my other assets are to get him out, I know where the communications are. So once the Secret Service makes him safe, the aide will say, okay, now here's what we're going to do next, or here's who he needs to talk to now. And so the courier aide is with the president all the time on a Marine One or Air Force One or whatever vehicle, and then hands off to the advance aide who's there, who knows the ground. And if the advance aide, something bad happens, then the courier aide is the backup. So you really have to plan for the worst. Fortunately, the worst doesn't happen very often. And actually more of the football has compartmentalized programs that have to do with the 25th Amendment. So if you've been at the Texas School Book Depository in Dallas, there's a timeline of what happened, and they realized that there wasn't really a chain of custody on munitions and wounds and paperwork, and that the Constitution really still wasn't that clear about succession with the vice president. So the 25th Amendment came into play, and that's why now we have a playbook of what to do if a president undergoes surgery or is incapacitated for a while. It makes it clear that the vice president stepped up, and President Bush 43 did that a time or two. If you're incommunicado, there's a certain thing you say. If other situations happen, you're ready to do that. So that's the primary job. And then those things don't happen all the time. So you're also a ceremonial aide. So there are sort of usher kind of White House aides who help around the White House, but our job was to be the main ceremonial aide. So you see the Presidential Medal of Freedom, that's whatever services aide is helping out. Or when they go on vacation, sometimes they pare way down, and it's a really small corps of you. So it's Camp David or Martha's Vineyard or Kennebunkport or wherever it happens to be in Texas. You might screen calls, you might do what aides do, or marshal the motorcade for golf. You know, sort of run. We would run with them. We didn't care. The football weighs a lot, and so we don't run with it. Even the big guys don't run with it. But you have a secure place to have it. But you just needed to be close. And then the threats have changed since I was the aide, and so it's a shorter time period. But it's a part of continuity of government that people don't like to think about, but someone has to. And that's really, it was a tremendous privilege. And to be there across administrations, I'll just throw one thing in. I taught political science at the Air Force Academy. I'm kind of eclectic. My undergraduate degree was in operations research and math and econometrics, and then I did politics and economics at Oxford. So I was on the political science staff at the faculty at the academy before I had this job, and I was really bummed. If I had had these better stories for my students, it would have been a better arrangement. But what a privilege to be there across an administration. The last year of President Bush 41 and the first year of President Clinton. I mean, it was really historic as a citizen and as an officer in the Air Force.